Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
It started with ice cream, of all things. She tells me that nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I tell her that skinny is a weird favorite flavor of ice cream. She says she'd go crazy without exercise, that I should try it sometimes. I ask her why she thinks I haven't. She just extols the virtues of the Stairmaster. I wish that I had said that I'm already crazy, and the pills that I take for my crazy make my metabolism crazier, and I don't think that I can climb my way out of this. Instead, all I say is Stairmaster. I didn't realize gyms were so kinky. She asks me to go shopping with her. What she means is come with me while I shop. We visit store after store that does not carry my size. She tries on outfit after outfit. I look at an awful lot of scarves. I buy none of them. I don't think I'm a scarf person. But by the fifth store, I decide that I do want a scarf to strangle myself with. When she sees my new bikini, she calls me brave. I ask her why, but she just gapes like a fish. I try to toss a chip into her mouth, but I miss. Unprompted, she tells me that it's all about intermittent fasting these days. I tell her that fasting is such a misnomer, that nothing makes time move slower than hunger. She asks me what I know about hunger. I confess that it is my constant companion, that it pulses inside me like a second heart, that it never abates, never diminishes, that I am an empty vessel that never feels full. She looks like she does not believe me. She may say something else, but I cannot hear her over my hunger. My mouth is full of words that I'm too scared to say. She tells me she feels fat today, pats her flat stomach. I grab handfuls of my fleshy belly and say, "Oh, weird, me too." She looks at my lunch and tells me she could never eat that. I tell her she just isn't trying hard enough, but with enough practice, anything is possible. See, I can be nice too. She asks me if I've ever thought about Ozempic. I tell her I have, that I am, that it makes me vomit uncontrollably, that it's like a medically supervised eating disorder. She says, but it works though, right? I say, yes. She tells me I have such a pretty face. I say, thank you. She waits for me to return a complimentary volley. My pretty face and I do not. I haven't seen you in ages, she gushes, feathering her hands on my back in a sort of hug that doesn't require her body to actually touch my body. It has, I agree without regret. We should grab coffee sometime, she says. I ask if she's allowed to drink coffee these days. She just laughs and winks. I don't get the joke. We never do get that coffee. What a tragedy. I hate that my self-loathing is always lurking right under the surface, just waiting for a few flakes of failure to chum the water in its service. I can feel it down there, swimming around beneath my feet while I balance on a flimsy paddleboard, trying to stabilize my core, trying to be positive more. But my muscles are getting sore and I've lost track of the score. What the fuck did I even come up here for? It's not enough for me to write. I want to be understood. I want someone to look me in the eyes and tell me that I'm good, that my life is more than some antiquated idea of spinsterhood. So I paddle out here, open seas all around, not a very strong swimmer. I hope I do not drown. I scream out my secrets like no one is around, reading poems about breakdowns, performing like a clown. And why do I do it? So that I can feel found, or maybe just seen. But finding self-worth in a number is another failing scheme. Whether it's the scores that I get or don't get come to that, or a number on a scale telling me that I'm too fat, or the likes on my new posts, or my number of Tinder chats, or the raise I didn't get, or the partner that I lack. It's all just a part of some pointless combat, a false flag of failure trying to disguise this one fact, that the monster in the deep, the one under my feet, withholding the assurances I seek, has always and only shared my very heartbeat. I won't find salvation or the salve that I crave from riding these waves, from digging my own grave. It's time for me to be brave, because the monster is inside me. You can't outrun your own rot. It's time to unlearn all the bullshit I have ever been taught. The praise that I've sought can't be begged for or bought. It must be fought. I ought to be my own champion, even when the waters are fraught. I can't control much, but that I've got. So no matter what happens today, the self-loathing isn't winning. I'm doing this for me. You'll just have to forgive it.
Graveyard shift. Sometimes the intricate roundabouts of life can draw parallels to the challenges of the graveyard shift. One feels the profundity of darkness, the weight of loneliness, the stains of insecurity and deep remorse. Ghouls come in the guise of tormented voices, and one lives as if collecting flowers for those expected to die in days. Thorns present themselves as roses, and dreams become transient memories stuck on the shadow of bones of those who lie in cemeteries. On some graveyard shifts, exhaustion wears suits so elegantly it gets mistaken for the immaculate, but instead, like snakes, it can be extremely dangerous. To be burdened with the load of truth is no joke, and guilt can be a choker of breaths or a labyrinth where all the exits are akin to an encircling graveyard watch. I moonlight on shifts as eerie for my mood as burial grounds, for there are living corpses needing to be appeased, ugly ghosts I need to address with the means necessary to provide solutions. On a graveyard shift, the ambience can be pregnant with silent noises, accompanied by a challenge that gives a tormented mind time enough to reflect on the whys of duty, calling so late at night, especially if the bodily temple is physically drained. Yet life itself is a tide of mariners striving to find their way home. Love is the mirror reflecting my own limitations. As such, night can also offer vision, a serenity of soul which feels like poetry, a voice, an image, a note to heal 1,000 sorrows, finance playing a large part in the equation. It is a time to enter the realm of the invisible, where boisterous thoughts recede, allowing honor to be greater than posturing, duty to become selfless love in the spirit of harmony and truth. This increases my joy, making the graveyard shift a blessing, not a curse. Lantern says, "O love, you who lie in my sepulchre and my life, shows mercy in my living room as well as my bedroom. Do continue to dance in my pleasure and in my pain, so I arrive at the supernal gates of the nameless one."
My foster mother would check the locks multiple times a day. I don't know if she was paranoid or being realistic. She has been robbed before. She says the criminals took more than stuff. They ran away with her sense of security. I remind her, locks only keep honest people out. A thief will always find its way in. These days, dementia proves me right, and this is not a battle I wish to win. Breaking and entering into her mind, holding her memories hostage, I asked for proof of life. Do you remember when? And she asked me about my birth mother. And for a moment, my birth mother is alive again. In this world created through phone lines and heartbeats, my birth mother beats her addiction, defeats her demons, all because I cannot watch my foster mother mourn. She is doing much better, I say. And each time she asks, I want to square up with dementia, go for blows, run this fade. How do you fight a ghost, beat a demon? I guess I am my mother's child. But she smiles. That is so good to hear. Am I the villain for wanting her to carry this grief too? To remember the pain so I don't have to? I do not know the answer. So I do not answer her calls. I hope she forgets me too. I know I am not the person dementia has left in her mind. She thinks me perfect. Dementia has taken so much, it has destroyed my sense of security. So now I check the locks and I leave the door wide open like an invitation. Come get these hands. And if I never get to go toe to toe with dementia, just know I have been beating myself up instead.
Poetik Army, crack cocaine, heroin, confused as farming. Corrupt cops, empty coffee cups. One eats as the bunnies hops. Broken doors, major seizures. Get down as bodies drop to the floor. This will only take a minute. Another hour passes. Clothes, hats, papers scattered on the floor. People stooped all over on all fours. They left with nothing, no proof. What's in the pot? A cow's hoof. Clicked on the television. They say they don't know where to start looking. I say a good start would be at your offices. Okay, then start snooping around for clues. Find out what's what and who's who. Prisons are getting bigger, pockets are getting fatter. I'm just trying to keep everything together. I'm misbehaving just like Fat Swaller. This war on drugs has just gotten bigger and better. Prisoner of addiction. It feels like I'm in a fiction. It feels like I've got nothing left. My mind's hazy, footsteps outside of Ralph's, thinking of theft. I want to stop taking drugs, but I don't know how. But I second guess myself. How can I get my fix now? Walk into Ralph's and take a bow in front of the clerk. Take the money out of the till before I murk you, you fucking jerk. 10 minutes later, I'm at a street corner feeling like a fucking jerk. I feel like the world is against me while this addiction threatens to engulf everything in my path. Walking home, dragging myself with this baseball bat. Prison bars of this dependency in its rigid confines, similar to La Brea tar pit, as it reveals my reliance on it. Selling cannabis across the street from your friend's house. Put your shoes on, go get some money from your friend. Get over here and bounce. I can't stop. I'm making so much money, man. Destroying the neighborhood seems like so much fun. Selling kilos of coke, I'm far from your average joke. Bagging up cannabis brings your face to a frown. Multitasker, rummaging through your whole town. Okay, but then someone gave me an advice that said to start with, I want to stop taking drugs, but I don't know how. So I was like, I want to stop taking drugs, but I don't know how. I can feel it in my veins, kicking up like a foul. I wake up every morning delirious, having sick thoughts, something very, very serious. Has me feeling on edge, very vicious. I've tried everything, therapy, meditating, doesn't seem to work. Shit is as complicated as trying to swallow down a fork. Man, I gotta get off this thing. My whole life is being controlled by drugs. It's like I've been given a wedding ring, and the only chance to know how to stop it is by pushing the bell to my mind. Ding dong. Of my stash, selling all of it so people will have to pay me. Step outside, cop car across the street. Oh shit, don't look suspicious. Quick, go to a food store and pretend you're getting something to eat. When I got in there, I felt sweat pouring out my hands. All I had to do was stay quiet, and they'll be beaten up by quicksand. What is going on? Am I losing my mind? Cashier is open. That's a good find. Keep your hands in the air and don't make a peep. Before I could even say Jack Robinson, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was no pun.
My doctor says we mustn't let depression stay beckoning from my bed. Shouldn't slip into somnolent complacency and let her dream my days away. He always asks me if I feel better from the last time we did this. A quick survey of the disposition of thousands of variables, and I'm just going to say what comes into my head. He'll nod because he really does care and ask if I have the same pharmacy. New pills come marching in to join the old in my daily dose. All my side effects are twirling round on their broken axes, drugs doing the damage instead of the storm. Sometimes we have to submit to brutality to be healed and brutalize ourselves in the process. Some days, she sits on my shoulder, whispering her dark interpretations, dire implications, unholy expectations, echoing walls that never stayed the same for long, and childhood beds that were never home. My friend points at her perch from time to time and asks me if it's empty. I'll nod because I don't want him to worry, but she giggles when I lie, lying beside me later, eyes locked like lovers, fingers interlaced. She sings her lullaby, a siren song for a man who never sails, some nobody spitting loneliness, slipping away on the underside of the sheep I keep counting in between these verses. I dreamt my doctor flew me out over mountain lakes, passing between peaks, swooping low and suddenly swerving, we plummeted towards the water. Final thoughts flashed, but the crash didn't come. And I woke amongst the debris of a day that hasn't even started yet.
I put again my world in shadowed clouds. The edge of rain, a flash, and thunder rolls through my valley, a whirling dervish of madness I've become. I heard them say they'd be better off without me. The whispers of shadows and darkness, I believed them. I was everyone's past with a dream, romancing disaster with pornographic eyes, undressing chaos so it could fuck me poetically without apology. A beautiful disaster broken by the darkness that consumed me in flames. In the blind eye of this night, chaos was expelled in syllables, whispers through the wind. Shadows hauntingly circling tighter, the lapse became me. In the eyes of terror's breath, I drowned. I could never be bound to this world, grounded to a society broken in bondaged flesh. The ash from this ghetto, an alley stench, lost a child in a faded mask, wanders the streets for a fix. My apathy of flared emptiness shaded my shadow till I appeared no more. A mirror, my reflection, a ghostly phoenix, wings broken by the weight of ash, and stars no longer shine in the eyes of this child. But a junkie's breath will exhale death, and another OD will linger in the air. I always found my life peculiar. In a sense, a sheep, black, banned from the ground in which I was born, cast away too soon without milk of thy mother. A promise to be loved, shattered, swallowing the broken pieces to internally cut myself, a way to release the pain. In shallow trenches, I crawled to avoid the incoming bombs. Avoidance, a self-defense mechanism. For what is truth if never spoken? And if I speak, will my truth be known? And my question to all of you, if a tree falls without witness, will it produce a sound? And if you stay quiet, will you ever really exist?
When smelling salts are put under the nose, fumes irritate the inside, triggering a reflex that draws a deep breath in and out to clear the nasal passages. The resulting rush of oxygen hits your brain like a speeding train, causing the sympathetic nervous system to respond with a fight or flight reaction that sends adrenaline through your body. This is how my poetry smells, like an pneumonia inhalant, irritating your insides, bleaching bliss, triggering unwanted thoughts, forcing you to take deep breaths, jolting your consciousness, shifting your perspective to use your eyes in a way they've never been developed for. This nutrient dense food for the soul is not FDA regulated, nor for the weak. So please take caution when consuming this chemistry. Side effects include trouble breathing. Sometimes feelings take lungs hostage, especially in the presence of fear or anger. Headaches. This pen writes truth so vividly. The mind has to construct supports to hold the weight of pain. Vomiting, because this line of work will make you sick to your stomach with some of the messages in this belly. Diarrhea, because stomachs and bowels are used to sugar-coated lies. This cold, hard truth is bitter and always on the rocks. Some say they need a gas mask to indulge this fuel. These diesel-soaked cages engulf cerebral planes. My poetry smells like burning plastic and chemicals because I stay in the kitchen cooking up dreams. This pen is as good as any spoon to alter your state of consciousness and waltz you into temporary bliss. This poetry reeks of street pharmacology. Smoke it, shoot it, burn it, snort it. These pages will sell you as many vials as your mind can tolerate. Should you overdose, just crack the spine and take a whiff.
Because you give me those jumping jitters from my head down to my toes. Because my body receives shocks of vitality, awakening my subconscious beneath my torso. Because though everything about me screams she is womanly, I still fall victim to erections of resurrection. Because with each lingering gaze into your soulful eyes, I lose my breath, seeking lips of lustful resuscitation. Because with just one look, one touch, one single thought of you comes the instantaneous jolt, a self-sufficient jumpstart, because since you are what I feel I need to survive, you revive my whole being like a defibrillator to my heart. I have an appetite for you that just can't be quenched by these fluttering butterflies swirling in my stomach. I have a thirst for your love that just can't be alleviated by these warm, tender kisses which leave me feeling more heated. I have this lovesick lullaby stuck on repeat throughout the day. Every single thought of you soothes my whole being in every way. I have this obsession to have you as my possession. What I feel, how I feel about you, goes far beyond infatuation. I have this undying passion to ravish you between the sheets for as long as it takes till my savage stamina depletes. I have this willing desire for us to make sweet, passionate love, unguarded by worries of unprotected, primal love, because in the glow of the flickering flames of a feverish fireplace is seen our lover's silhouette of our two bodies entwined as one. Absorbed in each other, lost to the world in a trance of romance, our heated passion begins to rise to a climax, boiling over in love's cauldron. consumed by each other's essence of rapturous attraction, we see no need to throw lovers' caution to the wind because love, this has become more than just puppy love. We've gone far beyond that with our committed acts of unwed sin, far beyond the novelty enchantments of an innocent crush, for I felt no worry of a love child born out of our illicit fornication. So don't be surprised when in 9 months' time, our bond formed, comes delivery of a lifelong purchase born out of trysts of our love liaison.
I miss you. I look up at the sky and it seems so blue. I miss you. Tell me, what do I do? I miss you. Like a plate of hot food. I miss you. Who am I to argue about how I feel? Am I a fool? People looking for love in this world, sometimes we walk on by not noticing their hurt or the lives they have lived. I thank God for giving me the spirit to give, to dream, and to believe in love and in life. Dreaming of a scene with Michelle Pfeiffer. Sometimes the variety of spice is the variety of life. I repel anything less. Every day I live a life of bliss. Have your peace, just like a hair full of grease. Nothing in this life comes with ease. I just want to be with you now in my farm staring at all these cows. The problem is you don't listen with your terse trips to Aspen. What would happen if I hopped in a plane? My mind's heavy. I feel like I'm just like Bane. Moving through the snow, the wind blowing, shifting my mane. That's it, I'm coming. There is no forming. I'll be there in the morning. Love all over my eyes tearing up, saying my goodbyes.
Suddenly I stopped searching. Suddenly I was not looking anymore, for you entered the agony of my longing, flooding my core with your wondrous delight. Who says that man cannot be inebriated by silence? I, my empress, I tasted the sacred sweetness of your love. My heart barked like a dog wagging its tail gleefully to greet its master. Dazed and reeling from this intoxication of kisses, my lips were sealed on fire, and I gave myself in homage at your feet divine. Whirling and dancing the speechless dance of ecstasy, I offered my all on the lap of the beloved one. When love enters the interior castle, the ancient manuscripts become alive. The sacred scrolls of the inner citadel conjoin like twins, flooding my soul with the charm of 1,000 roses. When love enters the inner castle, when love enters the interior castle, I feel a powerful thrill within as both the visible and invisible enchants me. I have no words to express the joy of the soul, except to say that it manifests in nature and in the glorious light of being. Sometimes, this inner abundances so consume me, I become a lover, shedding uncontrollable tears as my spirit weeps for Mother Gaia. My heart swims in a sea of unspoken delight, even as magnolias unfurl in splendor and butterflies dance in a symphony of silent music. At night, the moon sits at my table as I glow in an ocean of my own luster. Stars waltz to the tempo of constellations, even as Andromeda whispers to a soul fully alive, an adoring child being fed on its mother's bosom. I spin and spin like one in the company of dervishes. I'm inebriated, overwhelmed by an unknown rhapsody, bathing my being in a river of supernal peace. One day, while mingling in the joy of perennial entities that kiss my breath, I'll hold on to this glorious state forever.
What is a woman? A woman is what is left after you take all there is to take, build something new and call it your own. Remember once we called this Mother Earth, and now we say it is a man's world. How a woman birthed a savior, and still we call him the Word of God, as if her legs did not whisper truth long before a Bible. How they cut open a woman, stole a piece of her, created a whole cell line, and called it man-made. Pretend nature was never our mother, like God's image was always man. And when you take a rib and squeeze it into a form until it cannot be squeezed anymore, you will call it a woman. We will blame it for everyone's troubles. Say this blood must be unclean, like it is not the waters of your first baptism, where you left your sins behind, took everything for granted and still called her woman, cursed her name, fed you the knowledge of good and evil, and you still don't know the difference. So you ask questions like, what is a woman, as if it needs answered.
Says the lamp to the chair, "You're shaped like a shoe." The chair, shaped like a shoe, says, "No, I'm a submarine." Says the lamp to the chair, "It's so quiet in here with only us." The chair that looks like a shoe says, "I can't hear you over the typewriter. Ask again later." Says the lamp to the chair, "I don't feel like you're taking me seriously." The chair someone made to look like a shoe says, "Your pink is too wild. Your feathers frighten me." Says the pterodactyl to no one in particular, "I don't have feathers, and I'm not happy about it." Says the lamp to the pterodactyl, "Are those dogs wearing boots?" The pterodactyl is just a child with its arms outstretched and does not respond. "Sunbursts not included," says the salesperson, grabbing it back away. Says the lovely lady in the tiara, "I sailed on still waters under a wicked moon." She whispers into her whiskey glass, "I was not afraid of drifting." Says the lamp, "There are fractals inside fractals on familiar furniture here." Says the seesaw, "My riders have gone missing." Peter Piper pipes in, "My piss pot planter peas most pleasantly." Gordon doesn't say a goddamn thing because he's a pumpkin.
I sit on this edge, a river's tale of sorrow, flowing, spilling over the rocks, a tear-shaped waterfall drifting against the banks, drowning in this sea of memories, a story painted beautifully in the tune of the stars. I see you. It was always you, your eyes locked and loaded, the point of no return, two barrels drenched in portals, shooting me across the stars and back into your space. An eternity of lifetimes, and in every life, you bring to me this feeling of home. No longer can we ignore we are one. Our truth broken in reflection, a rock thrown at a house of glass, distorting our image, keeping us separate. I miss you. Like the water misses the sand, where an ocean's mist kisses the sky, and there's no divide, just a pure reflection of you and I. Our mind's eye wants to roam free in a world provided through love, where our souls can flow, where the wild things grow and luscious fields blow in the breeze. A world where fireflies light the way home to our hearts, timelessly faded. And here I sit on these banks, witness to the flow, staring at your reflection in the waters of our soul. A dream within a dream that only dreams of you.
It's getting scarier and scarier. when books are being burned like witches at the stake, and libraries are swirling down the fascist drain, when the gavel ends up behind bars, and a bill on Capitol Hill is just a crumpled up piece of paper used to make lines and snort coin. What happened to democracy? Is that the American dream, the one they say we won't achieve, where writing lies is an act of heroism and reporting the truth is terrorism? The most dangerous weapon is not a nuclear bomb. Everyone knows the click of a pen can do more damage than the push of a button. It is why they banned literature before lynchings. What of the history charred? Will it become folklore like religion, where folk lure the poor to a wishing well, and they stand there with their quarters, $1,000 short of an Easter blessing and an angel? Christians use the same recipe as Jim Jones to fix their wine. They call it the blood of Christ. Pretend to care about the unborn children instead of the ones alive. The modern day crusade is spelled ICE. I thought this was the land of the free. Truth is, ain't shit free. One person's convenience is another person's suffering. I'm surprised they don't charge us to breathe. Some say free means white supremacy. Free don't support love or equality. I thought this was the home of the brave. The brave bomb unarmed women and children in a genocide, kill citizens for a little less than nothing. The brave rip families apart, throw them in cages. Same tactics, different ages. They've got knees and elbows on necks, guarding the Teslas they serve and protect. And they're coming for the poets next.
There the poet stands on stage, still, quiet, prepping their composure, setting their mood within, stirring up emotions about to be shared, getting into character, mind racking through the memories Rolodex of scripted words spun on repeat, hanging on brain's nerve endings, tugging at flashbacks of memorizations of rehearsed recitations, hoping to not soon be forgotten as soon as the mouth begins to open to speak, shooting phrased bullets of inspiration, targeting your interpretation of gold bars of valuable advice, from stacked sacrificial poetic martyr, the price of death spit in verse cashed in for life's continued reincarnations in an unscripted universe, aiming arrows of analogies for comprehensible analysis, metaphoric similes and oxymorons sprinkled with catchy onomatopoeias mingled to get rhythmic lyrics stuck in your head like an unforgettable poetic jingle, haunting refrains trapped in your brain. You'll walk away pierced by poetic words, struck by its recoiled impactfulness of emotion stirred, its bouncing, persistent dialect daring you to sing along, pass on the message of this poeticized song. Witness the depth of impact pass through the poet's aimed movements of expressive body language, each emphasis acted out upon key words to flow this poem's energy into your goosebumped aurora, leaving its iconic mark upon your karma. Feel the path of wisdom spoken upon a golden brick road of full of poignant advisories, cautionary tales of journeys experienced becomes this poet's written sermon, full of symbolic and profound teachings, leading you through the beaten path, trending travels, daring trajectories set forth through the art of dramatized empathy. Once the poet has spit their last word for the night, they step off stage, wondering if you've shared in their plight. Did you get lost in their poetic reveries? Could you step out of your own reality and into the shoes of their humility? What if their attempt to entertain your wonderments left you feeling less than content? With a hunger for escapement, what shall bring an audience fulfillment to live a moment in a poet's world of imagination, orbited through the mic's mesh of spoken word reverberations? Good night.
For years I have dried the tears of many birds, not just pigeons. I have spiritual bonds with nature's aviators. They understand me, and I understand them. It's people I can't understand. Humanity has bit too much more off than it could chew from Mother Nature's eternally sacrificing and giving hands. It hurts me to see the way people hurt each other. The way hurts people hurts people. The way we all hurt. It's a shame how the rest of the planet suffers because of so much hurt. Humanity needs to learn and apply the lesson of turning negatives into positives, and as opposed to combating negatives with negatives. But I digress. As I flew towards the sun, it felt as if I was chasing the horizon forever. Arnold, life is so much different when your head is in the clouds. Everything feels so much lighter and smaller. You, me, the troubles we face, the world, and everything in it. Despite of all the things I've seen, the places I've been to, the birds I have befriended and cared for, I haven't been able to meet another Arnold. Your kindness is a mighty flame that brings warmth and light to anyone who comes close enough. Empathy is an ability that is becoming lost in time, and my time is coming to an end. Arnold, don't be sad. I am a man whose head is in the clouds, but you have time on your side to be the link that binds human and bird together. Never give up. Trust your instincts and reach for the sky. I miss you. Warm regards, Vincent. P.S. Always wash your berries before eating them and fly towards the sun.
I feel like my depression is behind me. Not that I have overcome it. Climbed out of the hole it digs for me, sapping all the color from reality, a living grave that I am ready to lie in willingly. I feel like my depression is behind me like a predator. Heavy footfalls that echo my own hot breath on the back of my neck that makes the soft hairs stand up in warning. The hackles of a wolf that only attacks itself. I've danced with depression for decades, a frantic paso doble, as it stalked me around the dance floor, and I twirled, and I twisted, and I twined, gracefully eluding any prolonged hold. Sometimes I was dipped so low I wondered at my ability to ever regain my feet, but momentum carried me through. If I never stopped moving, if I never stood still, I was safe. I danced through my life, cursed like Anderson's red shoes, but all things take a toll, and now I'm paying my dues. I can't even walk properly anymore, let alone dance. My very bones have betrayed me. The doctors can fix it, but won't because of what I weigh. So for the time being, I am easy prey who cannot run away. I can only laze about and while away the days, watching my life go astray, my mind in utter disarray as I write these maudlin poems, full of worthless cliches. My dance with depression is now a battle of wills while my will is whittled away. I'm playing useless checkers against chessmaster skills. I'm tired of being mentally ill and physically still, with pain that no pill can kill. I feel like my depression is behind me, closer than ever before, like a lover at my back, the probable winner of this war. I feel like my depression is behind me. I don't know what happens now. I feel like my depression is behind me. I'm so afraid to turn around. I hold my tension in the cuticle of my thumbnail. It seems I'm always pressing on it, pushing into it with the nail of my ring finger, my fingers fluttering, pulsing with this tension I have nowhere else to put. And it seems I am often tense, at least judging by the fact that I'm always doing just that, worrying my cuticle like it threatened to cut me. I believe a psychologist would call this a stim, which makes sense. I am neurodivergent, though it took them years to figure it out. Turns out if you get good grades and were born as curious as a cat, they assume the fact that you can barely take care of yourself is simply laziness, and that's that. But it's more that I'm so often lost in my own mind, wandering circles in the meadows of my memory, tending the gardens of my goals, swashbuckling blades with my nightmares, falling in love with a person whose face I have never been able to conjure. One of the rare limits of this overactive imagination. Ask me about Shakespeare, I'll quote you his work. Ask me about philosophy, and I will ramble endlessly about the invisible labors that underpin society that privileged scholars all took for granted. How are they to know the world when they don't know how to wash their own damn socks? Ask me about politics, and I'll dust off my soapbox. I'm teeming with thoughts like an overdue teapot. Just tip me over, and I'll give you all I've got. But ask me to take a shower, and I'm not equal to the task. No, that's not quite right. I'd do it if you asked. The problem is remembering to do it on my own. Then finding the mental space in between all those thoughts, the race to splash some fucking water on my dirty fucking face. There's just so many steps. There's so much to plan for. What do I wash first, and how long will it take to dry? And if I have to leave at 5, what time do I have to start by? I waste minutes, sometimes hours, trying to figure out the most efficient way to get myself clean. And when I do, I'm still surrounded by my own clutter, mental and more. Since my apartment is chaotic, something I don't mind over much, since most of the time I barely notice. How many mugs on your desk is too many? Never mind, it's not going to stop me from amassing a collection of posthumous coffee containers. My brain filters all this out as uninteresting noise. And why listen to that alarm when Doechii has a new single that I can play on a loop in my own head instead, better her staccato melodies than the changing, clanging static of my maladies? Hey, it works for me until I have people visit me. And I see my mess through their eyes, and suddenly no long overdue shower can wash the shame from me. But by that point, the problem has grown too large, and I don't even know where to start. And so I sit and I cry, and I'm too overwhelmed to try. I feel like a fraud when I dress up for work, use big words in meetings with big wigs, attend cocktail parties, and laugh wryly with a drink in my hand as I jauntily gesture, telling stories, pulling focus. All the while, these folks don't know that I can't even see my bedroom floor, that it has been eaten by a laundry monster who shows me no mercy, and that the same hand that holds that champagne flute bleeds from the thumb, the one that I still use as a pacifier of sorts at 39. But it brings me peace. And so I'm constantly fiddling with my own hands. I've been told it's distracting, but firstly, I am distracting. A big personality and a bigger laugh. I wear a pink fake fur coat like an epigraph. I can't help but distract. And secondly, I don't do it consciously. It's not about you. It's not even about me. It's all id, you see. My lizard brain crawling off on its own impetus, sunning itself on a rock shamelessly, as if I don't have appearances to keep up. My lizard brain might be feral, one of those lizards that spits poison, but at least it's brightly colored. I could never camouflage, and nature always advertises its deadliest assassins. You may take me down, but we'll go down together. Unfortunately, it is me and I and he and we need to find a better way than mutually assured destruction by profligacy. But for now, I poke and I prod, flutter my fingers in that staccato rhythm, dashes and dots, SOS, I'm kind of lost, and no help is coming, and my fingers are tired, and it's not from all this typing. I wish it was from this typing. Attention deficit variant in a world made for type A. I'll always be a type 2 hyper, so yay. You say you are colorblind, and I believe you, I do, because you can't seem to tell the difference between the green and red hues, hitting the gas when you should reach for the brake, unconcerned with whose life you could take, speeding through intersections without intersectionality. You say it isn't about hate, and I believe you, I do, but hate isn't the only enemy of love. There's apathy, too. the ability to turn away from the problems of the day, downplay the vitriolic wordplay because you want a new way and you know that you are not in the way of the danger that you let stay. You say we need to come together, and I agree with you. Oh, I do. But what does that look like to you? Because you speak about me and the people I hold dear from a place of fear. Expect us to disappear the parts of us you find too dark or too queer. You try to justify this calumny that we can see with our own eyes, and I can't tell if you believe the lies or just blindly ascribe to party lines. Is this how democracy dies? At the hands of bilious billionaires, held up by the very people they are holding down? Grocery prices already too high again, about to soar, eating even more of the little paid to the working poor, the same ones you convinced to vote away their very rights, told them DEI was the blight. Forget Beauty and the Beast, that's the tale as old as time. When the powerful's great crime is turning the gaze of the powerless to their neighbors in the breadline. Convince us to fight amongst ourselves, these billionaire cartels, they aren't even making up new spells. All of this to say that I am scared. But I still know one hard truth, and that's that hate will not save us. That's what you're trying to do. Do not misunderstand. I do not mean to love the ignorance. I only preach the strength of a love that defies our difference. All I can do is stretch the bounds of my compassion, my empathy, my sphere, and recognize that underneath your violence is also a very real fear. But fire doesn't extinguish fire, it only feeds the flames. So I won't play your games. We've been down this road before, but it just means we know the route. We've already been under this boot. So you shouldn't be surprised when we don't fall in line and follow your cowardly suit. Let's not get caught up in a squabble of minutia and what's probable, but let's aim to collectively dream of what healing is possible. The resistance must be one of love. And it's not too late to join us. Just swallow your pride and open your eyes. And if you won't, well, I hope you don't choke on those lies.